So we are back here on the Choose954 podcast, episode 31, with local designer Laurie Phoenix Niewidok, better known as Phoenix, here from her studios in Flagler Village.
Yeah.
If you didn't know about Choose954, we started a social movement to cultivate culture and community here in Broward County, where I'm from, in an effort to keep people to know with all the great things that are going on and make this a better place to live and not just a better place to vacation.
Absolutely.
The point of the podcast is to connect you with incredible people like her doing amazing things in the community. So without much further ado, why don't you tell us a little bit about Mrs. Phoenix?
I moved here 3 years ago. Everything art, music, and fashion I'm about. I'm originally from Philadelphia, and I've been a visual sewer since a child, just chopping stuff up and turning it into a life and a career is my journey.
So how did you get started being a creative?
I grew up in Philly in an area where it was musicians and just really cool, like hippie chick shops downtown, and I like scissors, and I like to cut, and I wasn't allowed to do shit growing up. It's like fucking Rapunzel. Oops, sorry.
You're okay.
But I had scissors, and we didn't have that much money, and trying to alter your clothes so you know, okay, we're wearing the same 3 outfits every day at school. Because they would call you a bobo. I was like, shit, I don't want to be a bobo. So give me scissors, and in home ec, you learn how to use needle and thread, and I love the fact that you could cut stuff, add stuff, and hours I would get lost in it, but I didn't come back to it until I got a lot older. So.
What was that moment? How did that spark reignite?
My husband, we travel, we've moved so many different states, and he'd be gone, so I was like, you know what, let me just jam out to some music, pop a bottle of wine, get some scissors, and I just cleared out my closet. It was like a puzzle. It was like, it's like that guy, Mag Chop Kenny. It's a riot how he cuts his stuff up. I'm that way with fabric, and cutting it up and visualizing it in a different way. I started doing that, and next thing you know, it'll be the next day, because it's a puzzle of joy to make something from birth. It's like Frankenstitch, you know.
True story.
Just birthing clothes, because I love fashion, but I like different stuff. I don't like when everybody's walking around looking Louis Vuitton or look at this, and that's great. For me, I appreciate the arts and one of a kind.
It's all, and they're all one of one.
Yeah, they're all one of one, and I don't like copy anybody's stuff, so everything I have is in the original form. So I don't take somebody's art, I'm like, oh, let me make a bunch of copies of this. I use that person's art. So all the drawings and pictures, that's not me. That's the original form it came in. But the way it's formed and the additions and the shapes, that's me. But there's some talented people in this area, which I really, really appreciate.
Which we'll get to in a little bit.
Yeah.
So from that point, why don't you tell us a little bit about, kind of how you developed to get into, from being a kid, stitching things together so you weren't a bobo. You were never a bobo.
Bobo life.
to how did you develop it, in your career to where you're at now with the designs and the products that you've developed?
It was taking a risk, and we had moved to Indianapolis, and they had this show, and I was like, let me find out about the art scene, and I volunteered, and I worked backstage and do whatever, and they had this show, and I was like, I can do that, and I just remember having my stuff, and I entered this show, and it wasn't even to the caliber of these other people's fashions, and I wanted to back out, and I was like, no, it's, you have to just take a chance, and even if you fail, take the chance. And this stuff was whack, but I had the best models, and I'm like, I know it looks like shit, but can you please rock it? And making it, I thought it was great, but I had a meltdown. I was crying. I was like, oh my God. And the worst thing was a chick was backstage, and she just was like, I can't believe she's in this. We just let her do it because she volunteered last year.
You overheard her say that?
I overheard it, and I was so hurt. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna be a pussy. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna strut my stuff and hold my head up, and I did it. It wasn't the best collection. It really was no collection. But it was, because it was that moment of saying, from this, you'll do better. And so each time I'm like, I have to do better than the next, and I've been blessed with the best models from the beginning to now. These models, they didn't get paid, obviously. They just believed in me, and I believed in their energy, and I'm super blessed for that.
How long ago was that show in Indianapolis?
Oh shit, that was like I think 6 years ago. And from that show they did like a thing, it was called Raw Artists.
Yep.
And I entered that, and I actually won, and which was crazy. And I think it's because it's the way you treat people, and if you do your passion, and I'm not trying to be anybody else. I don't Google shit like, ooh, how can I make this and that? It's still from the heart, and people were receptive to that. So that was really awesome.
So that was 6 years ago. You moved here 3 years ago. When did you meet our friend Mrs. Shavara Oren?
Shavara Oren and I think were just meant to meet. We come from the same cloth with our backgrounds, and her tenacity and just everything about her was just beautiful. We're total opposite, but yet we're the same. So the Freedom Collection and the opportunity with her background and putting that to fabric was pretty exciting and pretty cool. So,
you have one behind you that we can
actually I do.
Show the viewers here that are seeing the stream, if you want to pop it over here.
So we do. So what's pretty awesome is Shavara's dad was Martin Luther King's aide. His name's James Bevel, and my dad's name is James as well. And I kept saying, are you sure our dads didn't fuck our moms? Ooh. But
all the people in the chamber are going to love this one.
But being biracial, there's a lot of different things. So what we incorporated, she gave me photographs. Back then you had like the white waiting room. Everything was segregated, with musicians and whatever. And then you had like the colored waiting room. And the way we were growing up, it was just, I was clueless to, I'm just comfortable in my own skin. So I don't identify with anything. I just really, and the human race should be a lot better than it is right now with the divide, and I don't like that.
And what was the goal then with this collection?
Pretty much just to bring awareness, and just to tell a story, and not to forget these are freedom riders. These people went through a lot more than people go through now to get to us where we're at now, where we should be further.
Yeah.
But hats off, and their story should never be forgotten. So if you can get a scarf, and it tells a story. It's art, it's wearable, but it has purpose.
It's a fashion statement.
A fashion statement with purpose. And if you ever get a chance to go to Shavara's lectures or anything like that, you totally should, because she brings she's changing the world.
Powerful stuff.
One session at a time.
Who all has worn these scarves? Where have these scarves been? Where have they been seen on around the world?
Actually, we did have one for.
Was it Jill? It was a big. I remember she was a big radio host. I don't remember either.
I'm horrible at names. Yes.
But she was on Sirius XM.
She's on Sirius XM, and Karen Hunter.
Yes.
Karen Hunter got a scarf, and Karen Hunter is actually working with Shavara right now to tell her story, because it's pretty amazing. And then we also have one of the original Freedom Riders on his 90th. I might have the date wrong.
That's good enough.
They threw a party for him, and we had an order to do a custom one to celebrate his story and everything that he's done. So Shavara got the pictures, we got the pictures from his family, and we created them Flagler Village again. I worked with Hilton Jr. and he was able to get in on fabric for me. So a collective in the community, everybody really came to town.
Andrew helping with the website, I believe.
Andrew, I mean, can I say enough about Andrew and Evan, what they do with the artists and promoting? But Andrew and Shavara connected, and it really is a passion project. So,
It is, and it's really powerful stuff. I mean, I don't see many fashion statements to this degree that really capture your attention in a movie like what is going on here. If you're familiar with the Freedom Riders or not, it's definitely something that you look at and makes you think for a second, like what are they, what story are they trying to tell? So really powerful stuff.
It brings awareness, and she's got a business, White and Woke, as well, and it just really educates people on the struggles, and not everybody. Not everybody's racist, but there is such a majority that is, and there definitely should be a change.
And on the flip side of that, not everybody's privy to the conversation. So by having this as a artistically created fashion statement, it really does raise the consciousness and raise the awareness. And we are only so many years removed. So kudos to you guys for doing that. It's been a beautiful thing to watch that project kind of unfold and blossom. I'm glad Andrew and the Unitas Group are able to support. So, of course, I'd love to find out, how did you choose 954, and I guess more, why did you choose 954?
Every place we've lived, it's important to be part of the community, and I thought it was fantastic that you were so passionate about Choose 954. And
I'm not the reason why you moved here.
You're not the reason I moved here, but it made a difference. So being in here and watching, I was like, Choose 954. It's like, oh, that's the area code. But what you do and giving awareness to like everything that's going on downtown, and people come here and they don't know what to do. And I would say, Choose 954, get on, and it's a plethora of like art, music, everything that's in the community to go out and enjoy that most people don't even think about. And so now it's a staple on a weekend. They're like, what's going on? Well, Choose 954, let's see. So kudos to you and Andrew, because I'll tell you what, I've been here 3 years and it's just grown, and that from the Art Force Lauderdale, kudos to you.
Appreciate that. Thankfully, there is a lot of overlap because you're involved in a lot of things. We're involved in a lot of things. What are some of or all the things that you are involved with in the community?
Again, community's huge. I am a member of the Chamber of Commerce, the Lauderdale Chamber of Commerce. They've got an arts council right now, which is amazing. The people and the conversation to better Broward and make it a lot more aware of what's needed with the arts and the artists. That, I mean, artist life is hard. I mean, it's hard. Also, I'm on the board of the World AIDS Museum.
Newly minted.
Newly, thanks to my friend Raquel Lopez. And what a fantastic group. And they're trying to transform the conversation to the next generation for safety and AIDS and the drugs going on, and connecting it more with the arts, which I think is a beautiful thing, and keeping the message relatable to this generation, because everybody's on Bumble and Tinder. And,
it's an important thing right now.
It's huge, and they just had the Florida AIDS Walk, which is fantastic, and everybody needs to be aware. So working with them, merging Flagler Village with the AIDS Museum for Arts, and raising awareness and money to keep it going on for the cure. So.
And for better or for worse, not a lot of people know, Broward County leads the country in AIDS population.
Have you been to the World AIDS Museum?
One time. But the place that actually, and they do phenomenal work, but the place that I have spent a good amount of time at that also does phenomenal work, the Children's Diagnostic and Treatment Center, the CDTC.
James, it's heart-wrenching what goes on.
Because the CDTC off of Federal Highway, does some of the most important work. Their caseworkers and doctors and staff treat the babies born with AIDS in Broward County, and we've had a great relationship with them, supporting them and trying to raise awareness for their initiatives and trying to help them raise funds, and creating a section of the Thousand Mermaids Artificial Reef Project for one of their most special patients that we've developed a relationship with, Miracle, to make Miracle's modules. So this is, it is important times that we have this World AIDS Museum here in Broward County.
Absolutely.
As we work to get closer to the cure, and as we work to get closer towards eradicating the situation, and hopefully having there be a day where Broward County is not the leader in the AIDS population. But on a brighter note, you're involved in so many things.
Brighten it up, my brother. Brighten it up.
Amen. What do you want people to know about our community and the things that you're involved in?
I'll tell you what, you've got so much passion in this area, alone with artists and visionaries who don't have the funds to make things happen, but are learning, and the people with the funds are starting to connect, whether it's businesses or the new investors incorporating the artists. You've got Stephanie Layden, people,
Since day one.
Day one.
Since day one in Mass District.
I mean, hardcore. You've got DJ Fluff. You've got
Ed Burnett, former executive director of Mass District.
These people and their passion and feeling that, being a part, and knowing like, wow, we all feel the same. So I'd really like to see everybody connect a little bit more. All of the art districts from Miami to Broward. And I think it's possible. I think sometimes people make it a little bit harder than it needs to be. But I think with the visionaries like yourself and Andrew, definitely opening some doors in a fantastic way. So, go, go, go.
Amen. Very well put. And it is. We can talk about this at length. And we won't bore these folks, but it is an important time. I've said it, and it's still the case. The cranes aren't, stopping from rising. They are still developing, and I'm glad you mentioned it. You've lived so many places. You moved here 3 years ago at a time when the cranes were really starting to rise more so. These folks that are going to be moving here from other places, like, if there isn't stuff to do besides drink and go to the beach, we're going to have a real problem. And I mean, I could say it till I'm blue in the face. If these developers don't hit their occupancy levels, we're going to have real problems to address. And nobody wants to talk about cost of living adjustments, rent increases, when our average rent in downtown Fort Lauderdale is higher than Miami, which blows my mind. But I live in Camden, not even one of the nicest buildings, and we're at $2,800 for a 3-bedroom.
That's crazy.
And we're all right with it because it's a nice building and
but
location.
look around you. There's so many others going up. So now
it's only more expensive.
But greed's coming into the play.
Yes.
So if you're not offering something for these people with the influx, and everybody's coming over here now, but as you said, like, drinking in the beach isn't at all. You've got people from different countries. Everybody wants to see the culture, so let's bring more of the culture to Fort Lauderdale.
And so to that end, the things that we really need to be considerate about, it's the art, it's the artists, and it's the culture that make Flagler Village, Mass District, Fat Village what it's become. It's not the real estate development.
You're absolutely right. We've got music. We've got a jazz club. We've got the NYSU Jazz Club. We've got another jazz club. We've got performers. We've got the theaters. We've got Arlene. She's doing theater, music, everything. And these people are lifting up the city, so they're not to be forgotten or put aside. You need to take care of the people that are building up the city. Because you'll get that money, like you said, it's going to be short term, but then people will say, it's too expensive. It's not worth what I'm paying.
Correct. And then they can go so many other places. So the point that I always make in my background, most of you guys don't know, is in recruiting. We're very good at attracting talent, but we're towards the bottom, almost last in retaining talent. I've known so many folks, we were just talking about, that moved to Nashville, that 2 of the best videographers that we had moved to Atlanta. The film conversation's a whole nother conversation. But So the point of this podcast, and I'm glad to hit home on this, is we really need to support our creative community, our creative class, and our creative economy. Andrew and I have co-hosted a panel discussion in the last 3 years. I think you came last year, called Arts, Culture, and the Creative Economy in Greater Fort Lauderdale, where we're storytelling and correlating these issues in ways that anybody can understand. You know, when you support a local artist or creative, that local artist and creative with your support, and not support in terms of a pat on the back, your support in terms of buying their work and supporting them, goes so much further in our creative economy that allows them to buy more supplies, pays the rent in their design studio, and allows them maybe to travel, take a class, expand their knowledge so that they can further their craft, further their passion, and further their business so that they can pursue their dreams. And our dreamers and our doers and our passion pursuers, once again, are the people that make Flagler Village, Fat Village, Mass District, the Hive, what it is, and a great community.
It's a passion project. And again, the people and the artists, we don't have a lot of money, but we're the most giving group of people. So it'd be nice sometimes for them to get something back and say, wow, this person's like really been in the dirt getting stuff happening, and they're passionate and they're going to keep moving forward with or without your help. But it'd be nice if everybody could do it together.
Correct.
You know?
So the next time that you're looking for a gift for a loved one, for a birthday, anniversary, holiday, whatever the case may be, instead of, you know, buying a decorative piece of art from IKEA, which might serve its purpose for your office lobby or whatever, for a minute, buy a piece of work at our ArtWalk, which we'll tell you about in a little bit, from a local artist. It goes so much further. It has such a greater impact, and we're gonna continue, you know, pushing this point home until it really resonates with people that might not have been part of the conversation or privy to the conversation, because not everybody really is involved in the arts. We understand that, and nor do they have to be. But there is this great creative community here. We have this great monthly event where 4,000 to 5,000 people come out to connect and engage with the arts once a month. Where else do 4,000 to 5,000 people come out to connect and engage over their shared passion monthly? So we'll get to that in a little bit. For those that want to follow you, reach out for a commission, or, you know, come to your studio, maybe even get a class or a lesson. Where can they find you on social medias?
Well, Evan, I don't know about a class or a lesson.
Hey.
I'm still learning. You can come to my studio. You can find me on Instagram under Skirtzophrenic, or Facebook. Skirtzophrenic.
I got that in there. That's pretty cool.
That?
And
by Jack Rap.
why don't you tell them Facebook?
Oh, Facebook, I'm under Skirtzophrenic as well.
Mm-hmm.
And on Twitter. My studio presently is in Mass District
in Flagler Village.
Mm-hmm. And yeah.
And we'll tell you a little bit more about how you'll be able to see her. And I would not want to go without saying, who can we thank?
Can I tell you what?
Please.
The arts community is so fantastic that you meet, and I love working and being surrounded by these people. This gal, Nikki Paint, I met because I saw a mural driving by. I'm like, who did that? And we met, we became art sisters. I came in here and told her my vibe. She's like, I got it. She got it. She got it right. I'm spiritual, I'm zen, I'm positive and happy, and I love coming in here. I freaking love coming in here, and everybody loves.
Phenomenal. I'm going to pan the camera a little bit if you want to maybe just shout out a couple things that you see here.
Nikki Paint, you know, you can find her under Nikki Paint on Instagram. She does custom. She'll come and draw it up on her little iPad, and everything she's done is above and beyond what you expect, and the work ethic's phenomenal. And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes in South Florida the work ethic sucks.
Mm-hmm.
So when you can find somebody that does the job right, quick, and for a great price, you go with them.
Amen. You got some great stuff in here.
Thank you.
So I'm glad Nikki Paint, Nikki Gilmore, participating artist in our Fort Lauderdale, participated in the Choose954 Local Artist Discovery Series. We're glad to support her. If and when you come to Phoenix's studio, you can't help but see this beautiful mural that she painted in here.
Yes.
Phenomenal job. if you want to come to Phoenix's studio during the Art Walk and find out more about all of this magic. And,
I gotta pay my rent to come in.
And these incredible scarves, which I left my Choose954 scarf at home. It is hanging above my bed, but I will tell you.
What's that about?
Because I cherish it. I wore it on my trip to Atlanta, and it was one of the first times that I had multiple people stop me and ask me about what I was wearing. Like, I don't dress that nice, so it was pretty cool. And it was cold too, so it really actually helped. Like, I was wearing it for a reason.
Really? Hey.
So if you want to find out more, see these scarves, see her work firsthand, we are going to lead, for the first time, a Choose954 guided, curated tour of the monthly Fort Lauderdale Art Walk that takes place in our Flagler Village Arts District. Flagler Village encompasses Fat Village and Mass District, as well as the Hive and Flagler Uptown as well. So many people just have not really had an immersive experience where they've connected and engaged with the artists and hear their stories and hear them explain their work and find out or have found out what makes our arts district great. And it's the artists and it's the art. Over the last few years, I've developed relationships with pretty much all of these artists and creatives. So for the first time this month, during our monthly Fort Lauderdale Art Walk, which takes place the last Saturday night of the month every month, starting at 6 p.m., I'm going to lead a guided, curated tour. We are going to start, we are going to start at the trolley stop in Fat Village, where I'm in Mass District, I apologize, on the corner of 5th and 9th. This is behind Sears on Federal and Sunrise. This is, there's two big free parking lots. A lot of times people ask where to park for the Art Walk. Strongly recommend that you park at Mass District where there's free secure parking. And then as it stands, there's a trolley that connects the two arts districts because they are about a 10 or 12 minute walk apart. And I'll take you guys through the arts district. I do have it listed complimentary. I put a suggested donation on there. I'm going to be taking 3 or 4 hours out of my life and run Facebook ads and so on and so forth. So if you do want to donate, we appreciate it. But you can find it under the monthly FTL Art Walk with the new Choose954 curated guided tour on Eventbrite, Facebook. We do SURSVP. I'm trying to keep the group small and intimate. So that's the last Saturday night of every month. You can find the Art Walk. You can find Phoenix in her studio here, and hopefully you'll join us for the tour.
Do it.
One of our other favorite creative events of the month that we also host is a monthly breakfast lecture series. It's a mini TED Talk called Creative Zen. We say it's for the creative community, but everybody's welcome, everybody's creative. It's a mini TED Talk, so it's one speaker, a thought leader, an entrepreneur, an artist, a Zen master, sharing their thought-provoking, inspiring story. That's where I initially got my inspiration to get into arts and culture many moons ago. We make the event for free. We provide coffee, breakfast bites, good vibes, networking with other like-minded individuals.
It's really cool.
It is really cool.
I've gone to several.
Yeah.
It's a great way to start your day.
It's a phenomenal way to start your day.
Yes.
One Friday morning a month. We did have one right outside this door with our good friend Renda Ryder one time, which you can find all of them on our Choose954 Facebook and YouTube pages. Creative Zen on April 12th, when it always takes place on the second Friday morning of the month. We're very, very excited to have somebody I immensely respect. He goes by the name of Dynamo, Ivan Dynamo de Jesus, who's the creator of Action Club, which is another thing that we're glad to co-host and support. It's a free mini mastermind group. It's an accountability support group for dreamers, doers, passion pursuers, people that have ideas. We literally sit around the table for free, and we help you innovate those ideas, support, lend resources, lend connections, lend thoughts. Some beautiful things have come out of there. That takes, including raw storytelling. That takes place, Action Club, spelled AXEN, every second Tuesday night of the month in the general provision, every other Tuesday night of the month in the general provision co-working space in Fat Village. You can find out more at AXEN Club which is created, like I mentioned, one of our favorite monthly events of the month, Raw Storytelling. It's our version of the Moth. True Stories Untold. Our dear friend Eden Velasco of Witchcraft Branding created it. It's a phenomenal monthly event that takes place the second Thursday night of the month, which is generally the night before Creative Zen. So another place to, connect with like-minded individuals, hear stories, always a good time. If you're looking for more ways to connect and you actually want to connect with the part of Fort Lauderdale that really makes Fort Lauderdale great, the beach and the ocean, we are participating in a beach cleanup on Earth Day with Patchy Pastore's Celebration of the Seas and Barry Levy's Fort Lauderdale Beach Sweep on April 22nd in the morning. And if all things go well, we might be deploying for the first time our 1,000 Mermaids artificial reef modules on Earth Day if the weather and permits cooperate. So we strongly encourage you to come out if you're available, participate in the beach cleanup, and you'll be able to see the modules firsthand, up close, find out a little bit more about the project, find out a little bit more about some of the great conservation initiatives that are going on in the community, and we'll thankfully have the Vice Mayor out there, some city commissioners out there. It's going to be a really great thing. And the last thing I invite you to check out, if you've never heard of any of these things, you like music, you want to connect, another thing that we've been fortunate enough to have hosted here, where Choose954 is proud to support and sponsor So Far Sounds. So Far Sounds is the Songs from a Room experience. It is a global chapter-based organization with chapters in over 400 cities around the world, where like-minded individuals, music lovers, come together for a true listening music experience. They don't release the name of the venue beforehand. You have to either request access or RSVP or be invited.
It's a secret.
It is a secret, and they reward the true music fans with this experience. It is my favorite music event of the month. It's not just musicians, but even spoken word, jazz, and we had Darius Daughtry with Art Prevails Project recently do some performance pieces with his students and the people in his organization, which was great. So you can find out more at sofarsounds.com. They have a newsletter. It's not spammy, I promise. So if you wanted to connect and engage with your community, there's a bunch of ways you could do so, from Creative Zen to Raw Storytelling, Action Clubs, So Far Sounds, ArtWalk. Anything else coming up on your end you want to invite people to?
Just invite you to the game of art.
Yeah, welcome.
Welcome. Yeah, just get on Choose954, see what's going on, and check out ArtServe.
Yep.
ArtServe has amazing open mic night. They've got so many great exhibits. They've
Fashion
got
shows.
Fashion shows. They've got Red Eye coming up as well, July 13th. We've got a special surprise with some fashion, music, and art. The merging of everything in the community is what makes a difference. So just be a part of it.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Red Eye is ArtServe's signature event of the year annually, where they incorporate art, film, music, comedy,
everything.
And it's the whole space on Sunrise Boulevard is activated and immersive. It's their greatest showcase. It's generally been one of our signature art events annually in Broward County. So July
13th, and then I believe the 27th or 28th, I'm not sure. I know South Florida International Fashion Week with Carlos Junquera and Andres. I believe it's going to be at the Porsche dealership. They've got phenomenal fashion, and they're grinding and putting out some really good stuff. So there's a lot of great fashion, music, and art going on. So
there is a lot of great stuff going on.
Yeah.
I am blessed and thankful to have connected with this kind creative soul before So Far Sounds when it was here 1 month. Please keep up all the amazing work that you're doing. Bring it in here, girl. Bring it in here for the art.
Mr. Snow.
All right.
And Mr. Andres.
Catch you next time.
Deuces.